4:45 p.m. But this area here very easily could be looking at some very strong straight line winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour or greater. Let's just do a quick check here on the wind velocities and see how strong some of those winds are. And these wind velocities showed about 60 miles per hour. Now, these winds are basically, we're sampling the radar site in the La Crosse area. So these winds are blowing in the same direction as the radar beam. So we're getting a little better indication as to the wind velocity. That's probably closer to the truth. And in fact, I'm going to switch to a different type of velocity product here just to see if we can highlight this a little bit better. And so the strongest winds right now appear to be just to the south and west of Laval, very minimum, 40 to 50 mile per hour winds, but we could be seeing some winds in the 60 to 70 mile per hour range from that storm as it continues through the northwestern portion of Sauk County. So let's go back to our main display here. Tornado warning, this warning in effect until 5 p.m. for the far northern portion of Grant County and the far southeastern portion of Crawford County. We're still seeing that hook echo right here, just ready to move into Boscabel. So Boscabel, this storm is right on top of you right now. You need to be in a safe area. We'll switch over to the wind velocity here and take a look at this. Still seeing that circulation. Another thing I'm going to take a quick look at to see is if we have any wind debris being lofted into the air. And I'm going to take a quick peek at that because sometimes this will let us know whether or not damage is occurring on the ground. So there's that wind circulation. What we're looking at here is we're looking for some blue pixels to start showing up. That's an indication that debris is being lofted into the air, and it's a much better indication that a tornado is touching down. Right now, we're kind of marginal. When you see the colors all the same like this, that means what the radar is seeing is pretty much the same thing. Probably raindrops. If you start seeing different colors showing up along with the red, that's an indication that we're starting to see some different objects. In most cases, that will be hail. But when we start seeing blue pixels show up here, that's an indication that we're seeing much different type of a return from the radar and that it's probably debris being lofted into the air. So right now, this area right around Boscabel, we're going to keep a very close eye on that. I'm going to leave that in here just so that we can take a look and see whether or not that area is in line for a possible tornado. And again, you can see that very pronounced hook echo now moving into Boscabel. The radar display, the velocity display showing the wind circulation in and around Boscabel. We'll take a look at the winds here, and these are winds on the west side of the storm moving basically about 70 to 80 miles per hour in a southeasterly direction, or at least away from the radar. Then if we clear that off and look at the winds on the east side, we're seeing winds blowing 56 miles per hour in the opposite direction. So we're seeing a pretty good amount of rotation there. So I'm very concerned for the area right around Boscabel. Still not seeing any debris lofted into the air. That's a good sign for right now, but that could change. Every time the radar beam updates and we go through there, we'll have to see whether or not we're seeing actual debris on the ground. But this is a very concerning situation. If you're around Boscabel, you need to be in a safe area immediately. And again, we are monitoring the situation. We've got a tornado warning for the northern portions of Grant County and the far southeastern portion of Crawford County. That warning in effect until 5 p.m. for a possible tornado in the vicinity of Boscabel. Let's just see if we have any additional warnings coming in here. We'll widen out the view here. It looks like the tornado warning for Crawford County has been allowed to expire. That's good news there. That storm has moved into Richland County, and just a little wider radar perspective here. You can see these storms now through Richland Center. They're broadening out, so it's mainly the south part of this area that has the highest tornado potential. The strong straight line winds are going to be in the front edge of this area. And another thing, I'm going to save this here so that we can come back to it. So first we'll take a look at the wind velocities. Again, Boscabel, very pronounced wind circulation there. Straight line wind potential, very high from Richland Center northward into the northwestern portion of Sauk County, north and west of Loganville. Not seeing debris lofted there. That's good. Hail potential. Some of these storms could produce hail up to the size of quarters. A wider radar perspective now shows this line of storms running from southern portions of Juneau County through the area around Sauk County and then back into the area around northern portions of Grant County. Looks like a severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for the south central portion of Wisconsin, including the Madison metro area, until 9 p.m. Again, as this line of storms continues off toward the east and maybe even builds a little bit back toward the southwest and heads to the east-southeast, Madison is going to be in line for these storms. This is future radar over the next 3 hours, and you can see how quickly this line of storms may accelerate. So if we see that happen and we see this Boeing echo, we may be back into a strong straight line wind situation, especially from, say, Richland and Sauk counties, eventually through much of Sauk County, Dane County, and Columbia County over the next couple of hours. This takes us through about 7:30, and this might be a little bit fast, but it's a pretty good indication because you can see at the front edge, that's about where the storms are now. So the computer models are really locking on to where the storms are now, and because of that, it gives me a much better
Mm-hmm.